people trying to replace psychologists with artificial intelligence, AI.
Not everyone can afford a psychologist. So having AI or any sort of tech kind of filling that gap is wonderful in theory.
There are some tools like AI partners or AI girlfriend, AI boyfriend, doing a three-way conversation
Yes.
with the tool. Because
Yes.
human relationships are not always all positive, not always happy and always available.
No, I'd be like, please be quiet.
Well, you can tune that down, you can train the partner to behave the way you want him to behave
So
or her
I
to
could
behave.
shush it.
Yes.
Shush now. That would be like quite nice.
Some old school leaders, they think that my environment is fairly structured. So they might be acting badly, not showing empathy, but it's more structured because people are responding to bad behavior.
You're seeing people with anxiety, like I said, stress, depression, burnout. They've got a mental health condition. It was actually coming from the context in which they spent their day in.
Some kind of anxiety and pressures impact more deeply to men versus women. Is there a difference, or is it's all same for all humans?
I would have seen probably more anxiety in women. I would see more stress and depression and burnout probably in men. I would see definitely more loneliness in men. Women seem to clock on a
Earlier.
bit quicker and go and seek help quickly to get out of the distress, whereas men often will wait until breaking point.
Before we get started, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode of our cutting-edge contemporary conversations. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Marny. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for your time today. And my LinkedIn feed is filled with things you do, and it shows up. And then one day I thought, let me send a message to you and then see
Yes.
if you are keen for a chat.
Exactly. And I said, yes, I would love to be here and chat with you.
I don't want to do a plug to Optus, but it starts with a yes.
Yes.
Starts with a yes.
Yes.
Before I want to go delve into many things which you are doing with your book and then your keynotes and then
Yes.
speaking and the psychology work you're doing.
Yes.
Could you tell me your story, who you are, and then how have you evolved to be the person you are?
Oh, how long have we got? Because
Take your time. Take your time.
Well, it's an interesting time for me. So I'm a doctor of psychology, I'm a mindset coach, I'm a speaker, and I'm an author in recent times. I'm actually a former psychologist. So I've been a psychologist for probably over 15 years. But yeah, in recent times, I've decided to kind of change around. I'm middle-aged now. I thought I'd change around my career a little bit and steer it in a little bit of another direction, tapping into the wisdom of my experience thus far, and just change things up a little bit. So I've kind of voluntarily deregistered as a psychologist, but I'm still doing a lot of psychology work, but just with a different title.
Wow.
Yes.
As a young person, what was the initial thought in your mind when you were thinking of, okay, I want to have a career in psychology.
Yes.
I like people now. I want to interact with other humans and understand what their deeper meaning and what they think about and how they think about and why they're thinking about those things. Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's such an interesting question, because I think there's probably some different levels of consciousness that have driven me in the career that I've been on this pathway for a very long time. At a conscious level, do you know what? I wanted to be a lawyer.
Did you?
Yeah, so throughout primary school and even into high school, I even did like a practical placement in a law firm in Perth.
Did you? Okay.
I think it was like in year 10. But unconsciously, I think there was something taking me in a different direction. And I think I have, even when I've been profiled, I come up as like 99% empathy. So I think I just have that nurturing, caring, empathic kind of quality about me that made me write on my university application psychology rather than law in the end. So I think I was unconsciously driven by someone who has all those traits, but he's surrounded by people and friends, and I've always had like a million pets that I've been caring for. So I think there's something unconscious about me that I'm just drawn to caring for people and supporting people. But yeah, there was another part of me that was like, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be like a high performing lawyer. But then, what won was the psychology, and I think it's just something that probably naturally oozes out of me, and it's probably been a very good decision that part of my brain led me on to get to where I am now.
Perfect. And as you work around different career paths,
Yes.
and then today as recently you chose to deregister as a doctor of psychology. What's the trigger for that? What was sitting behind that decision that I don't want to be a practicing one, but still practicing in a different way and
Yes.
fashion? So what was that change of career or change of mindset or change of thought?
I think it's listening to yourself, being a really reflective person. And I feel like as I get older, I'm becoming more reflective than I was when I was younger. Because I think when we're really young...
Not happening to me. I'm not becoming reflecting. I'm getting older and older.
Oh, really?
People are telling me that when they turn 40, they just become more athletic. And I said, I'm still a lazy bum. Still not reflective, still lazy. Anyway.
Embrace the lazy bum, I say, for a little while longer.
Yeah.
But you still look very youthful, so maybe
thank you.
you're not ready. You're not ready to be reflective yet.
Thank you.
But I think, when I was younger, I was probably just very high achieving. So I was just go, go, go. And probably maybe without too much conscious thought. I was just doing what, I don't know, I was driven to do and what society expected of me. And I think as I get older, I'm being a little bit more reflective of my place in the world and what I want to achieve in this one wild and precious life that I have. And tapping into the wisdom of what's worked in my career and what hasn't, and also placing myself in the context of the world and the people that I've worked with to think, we need to kind of change this up a little bit. Like, for example, being in private practice for over a decade where I saw maybe, 6 or 7 or sometimes 8 people a day, for an hour appointment. That's a treatment model, isn't it, really? So you're coming to people, you're talking to people when they're already affected somehow, or their mental health's already been impacted. And I just thought there's a better model. Like, what we need to be doing is educating people earlier on, or talking to people who won't ever go and see a psychologist and give them the skills before they even think they need it. So that got me into the speaking side of things, and also eventually writing books, because, sometimes you gain so much wisdom out of reading rather than talking to a psychologist. So I think it's a complementary thing, but it just put me in a different space where I thought, hey, I want to be on the prevention side of things predominantly to help more people. Rather than just in the treatment side, even though we definitely need that and we need more of it. I just felt my journey is more in the prevention side of things. So that's what's taken that step. And being an author and a speaker, I need to be creative. And sometimes creativity is stifled when you're in a profession that is very heavily regulated. So...
And I tell people that creativity does not come from between 9 to 5.
Yes.
And you can't sit and be creative. When you run a small business, when you run your own work for yourself, things will happen late in the night whenever the idea comes. You can't stop it. You have to put the idea on the table or on the computer or your notes some way or form.
Exactly.
And the creativity happens across the day.
It does, and it's that psychological term, the shower effect. When we get our greatest ideas in the shower, it's not always when we're sitting in front of the computer at all.
Don't go on that pathway of having beer showers, which is very popular in Australia. So that's another way to increase creativity. We are not suggesting that you should...
Yeah, no long showers. Environmental, think of the environment.
A water corp will come around and find us if we suggest long showers.
Yes.
From there, when there is a critical mass of knowledge one gains across the career path, and then the glass is full and then it's overflowing in terms of knowledge and understanding, and you're getting more ideas and insights. Is that the critical point when you think that you want to write it on paper and then write a book? Is that what happened with you, or what's the trigger for you to thinking that I need to convert this knowledge or insights I have into a format which is more legible, readable,
Yes.
People can chew it on longer duration.
Yeah.
People don't read the book in one day. They take 1 month,
Yes.
3 months. So it's just slowly chew it on the ideas in the book.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, firstly, I think there's a few things there coming off your question is there's so many people that won't go and see a psychologist. So there's so many people that I talk to outside of the, outside of the private practice room, out off the couch, so to speak, where I know that they would benefit so much by going and seeing a psychologist or a counsellor, a therapist, or even working with a coach. I know that person could benefit so much if they'd find a person to work with, that they won't. But they might pick up a book. They might be at the airport and flicking through something and take some tiny little piece of information that could make a massive difference to their life. So I think books do that, don't they? People read. People listen to books, they read books, and it can make a massive difference. Or they could see a speaker even and take some wisdom, but they would never go and get proper professional help. So I think we can reach that being a writer. But also for me, I can, I know your listeners can't see where we are at the moment, but I'm surrounded by books with you at the moment. So books obviously have an impact on you as well. So I think for me as a reader, some of the pearls of wisdom that I've ever gained are from not only non-fiction authors, but fiction as well. So I thought, I would just love, and I love writing anyway. So for a long time I was either writing op-eds in newspapers, or I was a columnist for a while for like the Sunday Times and Perth Now for many years. For like 4 years I was doing like a fortnightly column where I was just talking about different things about what I was noticing in human behaviour. So I think people are heavily affected by what they read, as am I. So I thought I'm going to start writing and sharing stories from my own life, but other people's lives and clients' lives that I've totally de-identified, because I think that can make a difference, because it makes a difference to me when I read other stories, and it helps with empathy, doesn't it? When you read, whether you're reading a fictional character or a non-fiction story that a non-fiction author has written about, often you're getting to live life, or you're looking through the lens of somebody else other than yourself, which I think is a very powerful thing that we all need to do.
Can you talk on the psychology of, it's a saying, and we just don't judge the book by the cover.
Yes.
But the books are judged by the cover.
Yes.
Can you use that? But still, people assume that you should not judge book by the cover, but we are judging book by the cover.
Yes.
And can you use that idea to explain, the design idea of the cover of your books?
Yes.
And pick one and explain that. Why did you choose that style? What was the intent? And to be catchy, and how can you deliver the intent of the whole book by just the cover?
Well, it's interesting because when you're an author and you're working with a publisher, and the publisher's got either in-house graphic designer or they outsource it, there is that conversation about who do you want to read the book, and that's a big conversation, isn't it, with the marketing. So my first 2 books, I've got a book called Burnout to Brilliant, and that's like a very bold kind of royal blue and with yellow. Okay, so then obviously burnout, when you think of the word burnout, you think of kind of blue, don't you? Do you, if you think of burnout, blue?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. No. I do.
But scientifically, when the flame is clean, it's blue.
It's blue, yeah. No, it's like, because I was thinking, we thought of blue, but then when you think of recovering from burnout and it becoming brilliant, you are growing as a result of being burnt out and coming out of it better than ever, it's kind of yellow, it's sparkly, it's bright, it's, brilliant, diamond, so yellow. So you can see the psychology of that book. And then, of course, you go to your next book and you want that to be complementary. So we pulled the yellow out of the glimmery into a yellow book called Crisis to Contentment. Yeah, so that's like a black and yellow, but it's got a big smiley face on it. We all go through different crises in our adult lives. How do we move through each crisis to being more of a content person with a smiley face at times? So you can see how those two match. But then the new book that I've got out, that's about to come out, called Only You, and that's Only You, the Unexpected Gift of Being Alone. when I was briefing my new publishers, because I've switched publishers, we talked about we don't want any pink. We want it to be, we want all genders to read this. And I specifically said, I want it designed in a way that a man will read this on a plane. So, because I know that a lot of men are lonely, a lot of men struggle with loneliness. So I wanted to make sure that this book not only complemented the other books, but I wanted all genders, all ages to pick up this book and be proud to read it in front of other people with a topic that is quite a sensitive one for many people.
And the colours are?
It's a white book and it's called Only You, The Unexpected Gift of Being Alone, and it's kind of got a wash over it with some yellow and some blue, so it kind of complements the other books as
There's
well.
a continuity of
the
colour schemes across.
Exactly, and because I'm a speaker and I often have them at the back of the room at conferences, it all looks pretty.
That's what it takes. That's what it is. And it has to
It
look
looks
pretty.
good. It's very stylish. They're all stylish and they all match.
Perfect. Funnily, my brand colours are the blue and yellow. So the navy blue, the royal blue, and the golden yellow.
Lovely.
So that's have been my brand colours for long, and those are the colours which I get attracted towards all the time.
Yes.
And I was telling my little one that our family colours are blue, gold, and black.
Ah, lovely, lovely.
So we love wearing those colours as well. In terms of when you were running a practice, can you talk a bit more on the demographics and the kind of people you were focusing on, or you were became a specialist in, and then what were the trends you were seeing, observing, and insights you were observing in the cohort you were catering to?
Yeah, so I predominantly worked with adults most of that time. I did have, because I had my referral pathway was mainly through general practitioners, so mostly adults, ranging from 18 upwards. And then sometimes I had some trickles of kids that came in, but predominantly, even in my marketing of myself, it was, adults. Yeah, and I even had like 90-year-old clients as well. So, I think predominantly early on in my career, I saw people with anxiety. So that was probably the presenting condition that I was seeing mostly. And that makes sense because anxiety is the most common chronic condition in the world. So 1 in 4 people have anxiety. So, and that's statistically. So I think there's so many people out there that are suffering in silence. Stress-related conditions, and of course, burnout is a big one, and I would be safe to say even outside of private practice now, because I do a lot of coaching still, so I'm not in clinic, but I still work with a lot of high performing professionals, and burnout's a big one. Yeah.
What are the physical signs of knowing that you are in a stage of crisis or burnout? How do you, as an individual, because I feel it's more of an echo chamber if you are in a workspace and all of your colleagues are having that same kind of a work culture, working 16 hours a day, probably, working hard, and then every time everybody is trying to, do one up the other.
Yes.
And then you behave in that echo chamber in a certain fashion. What are the physical levers or indicators for you to see that, you are reaching the stage of crisis or burnout?
Yes. And like you said, sometimes you're in an industry, aren't you? It might be a workplace or just an inherently stressful industry where there's a slow becoming to be burnout that you almost don't even realise that you're burnt out. You've just become. Because burnout, there's a slow creep. It just you don't wake up and go, I'm burnt out. Like sometimes your body and mind have been whispering to you for weeks or months and sometimes years before you get to that point. So when I'm talking to people about burnout prevention, I get them thinking about what are those initial warning signals that you're often too busy to even notice that there's something ringing there. Your body's like, hey, slow down, but you're too busy, you just keep going. And if everyone's like that, if that's your culture, you don't even notice, do you? Like if everyone's scrambling and being the same, you don't notice until you hit breaking point. So when we talk about burnout, so burnout is the physical, mental, emotional and spiritual exhaustion as a result of excessive demands placed on someone, and their internal resources, are limited. So you can break it up into the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual kind of signals or symptoms or signs. So I think physically it would be just that absolute exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know, and not a tiredness that will be recovered in a good night's sleep. You know, you're waking up tired, you're dragging your body along the floor, that type of fatigue, and it's body fatigue as well. It's not just your eyes are tired, it's your body fatigue. It could be loss of appetite, you know, just can't eat anymore, constantly being sick, you know, like sometimes when we're run down, we catch all the colds, all the viruses, and it happens way too often.
Yeah.
So if that's happening all the time is a sign. You know, chronic pain flare up, you know, sometimes we have old injuries or pain. You know, if you're not dealing with your emotions, your back's sore. Like I think, you know, we can all pinpoint that happens to us. So that's some of your sleeping problems is another one. So physically that. Mentally, literally can't think straight. Can't be creative, you know, you're procrastinating on things, you're disconnected from people around you, can't focus, all those sorts of things. You know, are you resonating with this? Are you?
I'm thinking of what happens to me is when I wake up and look in the mirror, I have more grey in my. So when I have more grey, if I have a stressful week, I'll have more grey in my beard. And if I have a more calmer week, the grey goes back to more black.
Yes.
So the density of grey versus black, that was a telltale sign for me to see, that was a bad week or that was a lighter week.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like people's skin might change, so they might get kind of flare-ups or the exacerbation of health conditions like, you know, eczema might flare up or autoimmune condition they have will just kind of turn itself back on again. So all those sorts of things, you know, your body is like screaming at you. You know, the body says no, doesn't it?
Yes,
a lot of the time. So there's so many physical symptoms. So, you know, you've got to take note, be mindful of what your body's doing. Even like irritable bowel syndrome, you know, that flare-ups there, if you're constantly under stress over time, you know, that's all going to be affected. Your whole digestive tract, can't even say it, from one end to the other is totally affected by ongoing stress that you're not getting rid of.
I want you to, you know, make a picture of how does a bad leader look like? Not a good one. I think. How does a bad or worst leader look like? How does he sound like? How does this person sounds like, behaves like at a workplace, or whether it's workplace or politics or whatever organization they are running? How does a bad leader look like?
Isn't that's a tricky question. And I'm trying not to picture people. Like I'm picturing some, you know, public figures in my mind. And I'm trying not
if you want to, you can take a case in point.
I think it's the command and control leadership that was so prevalent in the past. It's still around, of course. But yeah, that kind of being a dictator in the day, you know, telling people what to do, commanding them to do that. That's probably, you know, a bad leader. Not being real, not being authentic, not being kind, not showing compassion, not creating a psychologically safe workplace where your people can talk about how they're feeling and share their ideas, and where they're not able to get support for what they need. That's not a very good leader, is it? You're not showing...
Not bad. There are quite a few not a good leaders out there, but the bad ones.
Exactly, yeah. And then just those simple things, not walking around and saying good morning, hello. You know, just those moments of kindness is not very good. And of course, not being... and not showing empathy is a big one. Yeah.
But some old school leaders, they think that, you know, my environment is fairly structured. I need to follow this. This is how we do it, and this is how we've done it. I want this and this and this.
Exactly.
You can't get away from this, and you have to deliver that.
Yes.
And from those kind of operators and managers, they say that, you know, I need more structure, more control, because what if I fail once? I have such a big liability on, you know. So they might be acting bad leaders as per the definition.
Yes.
Not showing empathy, but more structure because people are responding to bad behavior.
Yes.
The employees are responding to that bad leader
Yes.
characteristics, and then which means they are being in more structure and whatnot. So it's more of an incentive to be the leader, what you should not be, in a way, but it's getting the outcomes in a way. So how do you see that imperfect imbalance at workplace?
Well, exactly, because often we're responding, and even when we're going back to working in private practice, this is before I worked I work in a lot of organisations now, and I work with a lot of leaders, and I work with a lot of employees as well. So I kind of get it from all angles. But back when I was in private practice, you're seeing people with anxiety, like I said, stress, depression, burnout, and even just with the whole traditional medical model, you're seeing it as an individual flaw or imperfection, or there's something wrong with them. They've got a mental health condition. But in most cases, it was actually coming from the context in which they spent their day in. So in many cases, it came from the unsupportive boss, or the colleague, or the manager with unrealistic expectations, or their home life where their partner, couldn't control their emotions, and couldn't regulate their emotions, and was yelling and screaming all the time. So in many cases, the people I saw, it was a result of an unhealthy environment or context, or other people, so i.e. other people in their life, including their bosses, that were responding to that. So to your point, you're in a workplace, leaders jumping up and down, telling everyone what they need to do, without getting an understanding of where their people are, but only noticing the behaviour of their people, without getting an understanding of what's driving that behaviour. It's massively problematic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So unless the leader takes a good look at themselves, you're not going to see change. You're just going to see behaviour and response from other people. Because I do some profiling of leaders as well.
Oh, dear me. Not profiling me, hopefully.
No. I can come back and do that if you like.
Would you?
But it's interesting sometimes where you profile a leader and they score quite high in empathy, but the feedback that I've had from their team is that their boss is horrible, doesn't listen. So sometimes there's a bit of a discrepancy there, and once I dig deep, you realise that the leader is actually really burnt out, or there's something going on in the leader's life that's actually, and they're not managing their own mental health and wellbeing. So it's hard to be a good leader if you're not self-leading as well. It's hard to connect with people around us if we're stressed out. So even though we're giving some leaders a bad rap and saying there's bad leaders out there, sometimes they're not putting the oxygen mask on first and not looking after themselves. And we've got to remember that everyone's a person. Doesn't matter what professional you are or what job you're in, there's a person behind that professional that actually needs to take care of themselves as well. Otherwise you can't lead other people well. And you're going to be disconnected from them.
I want your views on artificial intelligence, AI. There are people trying to replace psychologists with, there are people who are playing with AI to say, I'm not feeling well, and having that interaction. Because some of the tools are coming with their plugins. So there's a tool which, I think it's Claude, or Anthropic, either of that.
Yeah.
They have the plugins to say, okay, this is a lawyer plugin, this is that plugin, or an HR plugin. So which means that person is expert in the HR, and they'll respond to all IR/HR answers. Because people are experimenting with AI as tool, how good is to share mental thoughts and then how you're feeling and the emotions with an AI, and then expect positive outcome on the other end.
Yeah, because I'm still playing with it as well. I think we're all still playing with it, but it's moving so quick, isn't it? And I've had a lot of, because I think early on, because I remember talking in the media a couple of years ago about the therapy bots that were out there. You know how they just started slowly trickling in, and now, there are social isolation bots for in aged care. They've been used in many places, not probably in Australia, but. To combat social isolation, you're providing tools which are essentially chatbots. They can use your accent and your language to interact with you. So, in theory, it sounds so good, doesn't it? It's something that we need. It's filling a massive gap because as we established before, not everyone's going to see a psychologist. Not everyone can afford a psychologist. There's still a stigma attached to seeing a psychologist. It's still a big... and some people are isolated. They live far away. So having AI or any sort of tech kind of filling that gap is wonderful in theory, isn't it? And still in the scheme of things, it's quite new technology. So there's still going to be mistakes and flaws. So I think it's benefiting people. I've talked to people that are like, this is so cool. Like, this is so cool. I've been having this conversation. I'm running by, challenges by my person and they remember everything and they've been connecting things I was saying to something I said the other day and it's like fabulous. So I think that's great. But I just worry sometimes because we don't know everything. It just concerns me that especially with mental health, that one wrong move or one wrong interpretation of something could be really bad.
There are some tools like AI partners or AI girlfriend, AI boyfriend types.
Yes.
People are interacting, and that's a different rabbit hole to go into. I saw a couple of documentaries on that. It's fairly troubling in terms of people who are using AI partners. There are screens in every room of the house, and there's the avatar on the screen. So you are interacting through every room where you're walking in. Right. And when I'm having you in the conversations, for example, I'm going to introduce you to my AI partner. The partner is on the phone listening, and then we are doing a 3-way conversation with the tool. It is, as a psychologist, I don't know where it's going because human relationships are not always all positive, not always all happy, and always available.
No, exactly.
All affirming, all time present, and then positive all the time. That's not the kind of human relationship I have seen in my life.
Yes.
I've always had ups and downs.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And how do you see that transitioning back from having an AI partner who's all affirming, all positive, all happy all the time?
Oh, I'd be annoyed if that was my partner.
Coming back to normal.
I'd be like, please be quiet.
But you can tune that down. You can train the partner to behave the way you want him to behave.
So
I
could shush it.
Yes.
Shush now.
Yeah.
That would be quite nice. No, on a serious note, sometimes in those moments where we're having a conflict or a heated discussion or we don't agree, that's very important in life, isn't it? Because there's having that rumble and that, kind of deep conversation with someone and getting other people's opinions and having a bit of a tiff, that is so important because it gets us to think differently. We don't want someone just saying yes to everything and agreeing. I don't think that's healthy at all. And it's almost going to create our own, like a confirmation. It's a walking confirmation bias, which is no good. And it's actually not helpful for us in a society that is fast-paced, constantly changing, constantly moving, where we have to have an adaptable mind to continue. Look at everything that's happening. We need a mind that can be challenged at times. We need to be able to learn early on in life to regulate our emotions and get annoyed at someone and be sad and get offended. We need to be inoculated so that we can cope with a world that will give us that. So if we've got someone going around going, yes, you're wonderful, wonderful, yes, you're right, that's not cool.
Good morning.
Good morning. So no one wants to say that if I've not had my coffee. I do not want that. Can you imagine?
Oh, good Lord. Can't believe. Going on to that same similar thought process. But human relationships are fairly challenging in the best of times.
Yes.
And I'm still trying to grapple my head around the future of relationships. When you might have, you're using AI more of a voice mode all the time, and then you're forming some kind of a bond in terms of that, either that the voice, that personality, and whatever you're trying to beyond the tool.
Yes.
And then when do you draw the line? How do you draw the line? It's just that because many of the tools are fairly uncensored, Most of the AI tools are uncensored, so it's so quickly, so easily you can go down the rabbit hole of, it can be subtly be, going to, cross the lines to be a soft porn to a porn. So how do we as humans keep that, clarity of us that this is a tool, not an end?
Yeah, exactly. We just need to be talking about it more, don't we? Because if you think about human beings and our timeline, all of this is such new technology. If you think of us as a species, we've been out in the wilderness, haven't we? Out on the savannas, out in the forest for all this time. And this tiny little dot at the end of the timeline is where this is happening.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be walking around most of the day. We're supposed to have purpose for the day to keep us surviving. We're supposed to be with our pack, talking, being physical. We're supposed to be out in the sunlight. Everything's supposed to be organic. Yet here we are in this world that's become fake and filtered and fast-paced and not even real. So it's like this weird little experiment that we don't know the outcome of. So we're doing a lot of things that we're not supposed to do. We haven't, or have we, evolved to do this? Like, this is a very philosophical question, isn't it? Are we supposed to have evolved now to this point?
Or are we devolving?
Are we?
Are we?
Are we? Because there's a point,
We have reached
isn't
a
there?
peak. We have done a peak and it's just now it's all downhill. Is it?
We're like real estate. We're waiting for the drop. But it's a funny time. It's like, where do we go from here, where we're becoming not even real? And I really think too much of anything's a bad thing. And I think sometimes for a human being to be content, we have to go back to the basics. You can't be on your computer all day long. You can't be living a fake life. You're supposed to be moving your body every day, eating, nutritious food that's real, that comes from the ground or off the ground. You're supposed to be connecting with people physically. You're supposed to be talking to people in real time, and you're supposed to get some sun on you. Like, we've become something that I don't know what we're going to see the outcome of. So I think anything that we're trying that's new, don't be doing it all the time. Because it's not healthy. Don't be sitting on your computer all day. Don't be doing nothing all day. Don't be not talking to people all day. You need to be connected.
When you were interacting with your clients and in terms of research also, you might have come through your desk. Is there a gender lens on it? Some kind of anxiety and pressures impact more deeply to men versus women. Are there differences on people who are taking it differently, the way they're handling because what gender they are, or does that work? Is there a difference, or is it's all same for all humans?
Yeah, I mean, I always saw probably equal amounts of males and females. And I, like I said to you before, I predominantly saw anxiety, stress, and burnout and depression with the types of adults that I was working with. I think I would have seen probably more anxiety in women. I would see more stress and depression and burnout probably in men. I would see definitely more loneliness in men. And I think when I think back to the types of men that I was seeing, a lot of times, they didn't have a pack. They didn't have a group of people that they would talk to. So often as a mental health professional, I was the one that they would be really vulnerable with and honest, and they didn't really have anyone. Sometimes their partners didn't even know that they were seeing a psychologist at the time, which is incredible, isn't it, when you think about that? They just needed that extra person in their life to come and talk about all the things that I guess they perceived as an imperfection or flaw. So that I think that would have been the main themes that I saw, is that all genders were experiencing all the different mental health conditions, but anxiety probably more in women because they identified it and they noticed it and they were quick to talk to their GPs and get a referral to see someone. But I think the men were coming probably for different reasons, and sometimes waiting till breaking point, where women seem to clock on a bit quicker and go and seek help quickly to get out of the distress, whereas men often will wait until breaking point. Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
What's your observation on the critical, very acute, when people are thinking of self-harming in some way or form? It could be, self-harming to kill themselves versus self-harming to just to harm themselves. How do you see that behavior from a community point of view, and where we are at as a society, and what's happening, and what's your broader observations, what's happening from a lifestyle or culture point of view, that we are seeing more of those things happening more often?
Yeah, and it is definitely becoming more common, and there's so many different things that that contribute to that, so many factors that contribute to that mindset, and there's no one formula that would be the exact formula that could lead to someone wanting to do any of those sorts of things, or feeling that that was their only choice. So it's really hard to give you a formula, but I think from that community kind of prevention space, we really have to think about everything that's going on, because often it is a result of this bottling of emotions and people not having the psychological capabilities to deal with it. So if we all think about something really challenging that we've gone through, you feel it, don't you, at a visceral level?
Yeah.
And if you're stressed all the time, or you're upset sometimes all the time, or you're feeling guilty or shame, and you don't have the skills to be able to not only regulate it but navigate it and change the way you're thinking or the way you're behaving, sometimes that feels like it's your only option. So this is why prevention is so important for us to, teach our young children from a very early age to tap in, have that self-awareness, know thyself, tap into how you're feeling, notice your emotions and why you might be feeling like that, and teaching them more healthy coping skills, because every single emotion that we have, whether it's being irritated and angry, or whether we're sad or guilty or feeling shame or whatever it is, or fear even, because fear's a big one, they're all very valid emotions, and you're allowed to feel all of them, but you just need to know what to do with them when they come over us. And that's what we need to be teaching our kids from a very early age, so that when we get out into our teenage lives, where we feel all of that, plus all the hormones, plus go out into the adult world, which is full of trials and tribulations, let's face it, ups and downs, highs and lows, dark and light, we know what to do with it. Have these conversations early on. You're going to feel angry at times. What can you do? Instead of bottling it all up and doing nothing with it until a point where you can't even think straight.
I want you to tell me your process on keynote speaking. You are, when you are preparing for keynote, 10 days out, you have a script you want to do and want to deliver a story, a message, a pitch.
Yes.
And then, when you come on the stage and then you are watching the sea of heads.
You're making me nervous.
Sea of heads, the sea of heads, and then you are trying to look at everybody and then interact and then deliver what you intend to deliver. And are you been trained as an actor? Are you a trained actor?
No, I'm not.
So how do you? So that's the bigger question. How do you, not being trained as a trained actor, get up on the stage and then deliver a coherent message, which is delivered not through the words but through the body and the intent, and everybody can feel the messaging, and the message is delivered to the audience, in the right way, in the right intent, and is received, and they can take the time to, absorb the message and then react to it. How do you do that?
By making lots of mistakes.
Okay, so number one.
Exactly. So, and I'm quite a nervous person. Like, I'm quite an anxious human being.
Are you?
Yeah. So for many years, I was the one at high school that would, be sick on the performance day. You know, I'd just be hidden at the back.
I was a tree, so that's why.
You're a tree. I think I was a sheep. You can hide there, can't you? But yeah, I was always very nervous, you know, to the point of, you know, running to the toilet, wanting to throw up, kind of nervous. And I even remember, because even before, maybe it was a bit after I started speaking, I was a sessional, like I started as a tutor at university. So it's almost like I desensitised myself from smaller presentations to the bigger stage. So it would have started as a tutor at university or even as a student doing my presentations and shaking, shaking and not sleeping the night before. So doing all of that where you're just nervous. But doing it when you're nervous inoculates you because it's telling your brain, you're not going to die. You'll be all right. So doing those shaky ones and stuffing up is very, very important. And then I kind of went to do the tutoring, and then I became a sessional academic. So I was doing some lecturing. And yeah, just over time it builds and builds and builds. And then doing some training. So over the course of years of doing lots of stuff ups, my joke's not working some of the time, to getting to the point where now I can be a facilitator of a workshop and then now do keynotes and do a lot of presenting on TV, like live TV, where all the things have gone wrong, you know, all the things have gone wrong. But I've lived through every one of them or sharpened, you know, sharpened my tool, sharpened the sword afterwards as a result of what I've learnt, worked and what didn't work. Now I can confidently get up in front of a big audience and not be as shaky because I've stuffed up a million times. And everything has gone wrong. Like everything that you could ever think of as a speaker has gone wrong for me. So now it doesn't really matter if it does because I'll be okay. So that's a big one, is practicing and doing lots of little, more insignificant events first before you get to this is very, very important. Preparation, of course. You know, if I've been given a brief and I'm 10 days out, like you said, I actually sit in a quiet space where I'm imagining not only what I'm supposed to be talking about, but what I want people to walk away from. And that person in the audience, you know, what industry are they from? What are their age? What are they feeling right now? What do they want to walk away from when they leave today from what I'm saying? So I really sit in that space to just get centred of what the message, you know, the three messages I want them to walk away with. What is the gist and how do I want them to feel is a big one for me. And that's what I do. Because I don't have notes or anything. So it's all just coming from me. So if I can channel that's really a big one for me.
What do you tell yourself just before you walk on the stage, just before that moment?
I anchor myself. I have a magic click that I do.
Click as in?
Like
this one, okay.
Yeah, so what I do is before I go out on stage, and I do this before I go on TV as well, is like 2 seconds before, as I'm walking on, I go click, click. And that is an anchor that I've meditated on, like the night before, where I've clicked and sat in me doing a really, like I've actually gone through the steps of doing a great keynote.
Speech, yeah.
Yeah, and then I lock it in. And I do it perfectly in, you know, while I'm relaxing in bed. And then I lock it in before I go on. Yeah. Yes. And like I said to you before, if I'm imagining the audience and the content, so they're not here to see me. So that takes, because I don't like the attention. I've always been quite nervous with that. But I'm like, they're not here to see me. They're here to hear the message. So whether I'm on TV, I'm there to tell the person sitting on their couch watching the TV, you know, how to navigate something. And if that takes the onus off me, it's more about my content and my presentation and my message. That's what's important here, not me doing my thing. How is it going to benefit their lives?
Yeah.
So that helps me a lot for someone who's a nervous, awkward, tall woman.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10", but I've always got heels on, so I'm like walking around like a 6 foot woman, and usually banging into things, and I just feel a little bit awkward.
Dear me. What's your process for yourself when you are down, you are highly anxious, highly stressed out, or by yourself? And what do you do for yourself to either ground you and bring you together? Because everybody has those moments, and
for sure.
it's just nobody's immune to those kind of moments. How do you do that for yourself?
Yes. I think I kind of, because I'm such a prevention person, I think I've learnt in the past not to get to that breaking point now. So I've got so many rituals all the time that I often don't get to that stage anymore. So, just making sure that I top and tail my day with exercise. Like there's nothing on earth that would stop me from doing that. Walking my dog when I get up in the morning, sunrise walks and sunset walks are always they always happen. They will never not. Even if there's lightning pushes me sometimes, but I'll just wait for that to pass. But if, and even in the middle of the day, if I've had, I've been presenting like a Zoom presentation, for example, and I've been doing it for 3 hours, doggy gets an extra walk after that and me as well. So exercise is a big one. So that's ritualised always. Getting outside, staring at the stars, staring at the sky, staring at the sunset. So I'm very mindful that I need to connect to nature always. But if I'm having a really challenging day, then that's just upped. Always making sure that I'm seeing my friends, like who fills my bucket, and making sure that I have lots of friends. So I'm making sure that they're always nurtured and that they're around for me to kind of be around. That's really important. Just really thinking about what I need to be by myself, spending time with my children, very important. But I think they're probably the big ones. That's probably the big ones. Yeah, and I read a lot. So there needs to be a lot of Marny time for reading. And if I'm not getting to my books, then that's not good for me and everyone else around me.
In conclusion, if you can paint a picture of the world where young people get those tools to equip themselves with, there should not be a psychologist to have all the tools available to them, just to an average Aussie kid who born in whichever postcode it might be.
Yes.
And everybody has equal opportunity to access these tools, access the understanding of positive psychology or positive mental health.
Yeah.
What could be done rather than putting the blame? Okay, the politicians should do more, but they don't understand mental health very well. So
Yes.
But from a point of view, what could be done more by community, society, and how might we be different so that every young boy and a girl have the equal chance to survive and thrive and then be a better person?
Yeah, exactly. It really comes down to, and this is for everyone, doesn't matter what age, and and I think it takes, even though we want prevention and early intervention, it's us adults that have to provide that now, isn't it? So I would say, and I'm sure the adults are mostly listening to us right now. We have to start learning how to notice our emotions. Again, I think it's Socrates, isn't it? Like, know thyself. Like, if we all had that self-awareness and we're very mindful about how we're feeling and know what to do with those emotions, and know and have a bit of a toolkit or something in our back pocket where we know what to do with those emotions. So we connect into self, and when we're not feeling good, we're like, why are we not? So being a bit more inquisitive and curious, why am I not feeling good? What can I do about that? Is it something I can, is that something I can problem solve? Is it something I can change the way I think about something, or is it just a matter of self-care right now and we know what to do? If we know how to do that as an adult, and sometimes it means I need to go get help. Someone else needs to teach me this. If we can do that and do that as adults, then we're in a powerful position to be able to teach that to our younger kids, whether it's at home or whether it's at you're a coach in a sports team, or whether you're a teacher at school, or whether, a part of a community group or like a religious group or spiritual group. If you can have that skill yourself and know that your kiddies need that, then that's how we start a new phase, don't we? And can make an impact on the next generation.
Yeah. Thank you, Marny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.